I wanted to tell you a love story, okay, on this Valentine's Day. We're gonna roll a Valentine's Day intro. You guys are so silent. You're very good. Like, where is she going with
Where's
this?
the story? I'm waiting.
The story. Okay, well, I'm glad we have the music for it. This is not just any love. This is the love of our two colleagues, okay? Amie and Kamal. Amie is one of our amazing writers on the show. She writes the news that I read. Kamal is a producer, and they first met years ago working at our sister station just down the hallway at CP24. Now they're engaged to be married. We're so thrilled for them. And I have to say, I've had a front row seat to all of this because I worked with both of them at CP24, so I've been able to watch all of this unfold. This is their story. Check it out. Tell me about your memory of meeting each other. Aim, we'll start with you.
I remember like the first day that I came back from Alley was the first day that I met him. But yeah, I just like saw someone there that was new, that wasn't there when I went off on mat leave.
Okay, and do you remember your first meeting with
100%,
Amy?
yeah. I remember she walked in and was one of the first people that said like hello to me just directly, and I was like, oh, this is nice, hello.
He's like, I remember what you were wearing. It was dark pants and a blue shirt.
But I think that's similar to what she was wearing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When did you guys form the friendship, though? So that was the sort of the first day you met. At what point did you go, oh, like this person's cool?
Yeah, I don't remember the timing exactly, but for a few years, it was Kami, as people dubbed us, as the two writers in the morning. So obviously, working the hours that we worked on that morning show, very early, you get to know someone very well.
So let's jump forward a little bit to your morning.
Yeah.
So walk me through how and when you ended up at your morning and then where Kamal was at that point.
I came with you.
I remember. So what was it like for you when Amy wasn't working with you anymore?
Well, it sucked, right? So I knew that I had wanted to come to your morning anyway, and so when it worked out, it was just an added bonus.
You brought back together, and then what does your relationship look like at that point? Still friendship?
We became better friends, talking more and such, more coffee breaks.
At what point did you realize you're like,
I think I was first to realize that this is a really special girl.
Arguably, I was the first to realize. I feel like I told you so many times, I'm like, he loves you. Can we talk about, I mean, some of the signs were obviously there from us who were on the outside looking in. I mean, for example, where you park, can you tell us a story about how you would sort of meet her very early in the morning and walk her in?
So I lived across the street from work for many years, and she would start at around 3 a.m. I would start at 6, but I would meet her at 3 a.m. and walk her in.
So when you guys decide that, okay, let's give this a go, did you have concerns and I'm guessing conversations going into it going, well, you know, like this could get tricky?
Like there was lots of conversations about it because we were like, is this allowed? First of all,
is this allowed?
I don't really know if you're allowed to date a coworker. But then also it was just kind of like this like secret period where I'm sure like, well, some people caught on, but it was like, you know, we had to kind of like keep things quiet because we weren't sure what the reaction was going to be.
Yeah,
I think we thought we were more stealth than we were.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. By the way, 100% true.
Yeah.
I didn't have any confirmation from you, but I think there was a lot of whispers suspecting, but also excited for the two of you because we love both of you guys so much. And so how did it play out? Did you have to say, oh, we're dating?
We were going to a friend's wedding, one of my friend's wedding, and it was in Mexico. And we had to take time off, and we both took time off. And one of our former coworkers, Heather, she talked to our executive producer, Jen, and was like, hey, they're asking for time off together, and I know that no one really knows, but I have to mention that this is why they're taking time off together.
Okay, so when did you know you were going to propose?
Well, I'd known for some time. And then I'd been planning it out in my head, how it would go down. Then I'd spoken to my parents, my brothers about it, kind of started looking at rings. picking something out. It was like a few months process. And I was like, okay, now I just got to figure out how I'm going to do this, when I'm going to do this. And it all went down on Canada Day in New York.
Now we're going to share with you how that proposal went down. You are going to hear from Amie and Kamal and a guy named Brian McDermott who was unexpectedly in the right place at the right time.
I knew in my head that we were going to Brooklyn and we're going to be by the Brooklyn Bridge, and then we had reservations for dinner in Brooklyn at Peter Luger's Steakhouse.
I work for a company that's based in New York. It's a tech company that has an office here in Toronto.
So we get to the Brooklyn Bridge area, by the water and stuff, and we're like, oh, let's just take a walk, let's take some photos.
So that day, spent a lot of time in Brooklyn, and then that evening was a really nice sunset. So was down by the Brooklyn Bridge.
So we were consistently for like, I'd say 45 minutes going to like the same spots, like, oh, let's take some photos here, let's take some photos here.
It was one of those nights where the sky just seemed sort of magical.
We found a nice spot which wasn't too busy, and in my head I'm like, this is like now or never. We happened to see some people walking by.
So someone came up to me, I think he saw the camera on my shoulder, and asked if I could take some pictures for them.
So I asked him, hey, do you mind taking a photo, please? And he's like, yeah, no problem.
So I took his phone and started snapping a few pictures. I'm used to doing this, so when I do it, I like to take some from different perspectives, close up, far away, portrait, landscape, and so on.
He took some photos. He took a couple photos. Like, oh, there you go.
I was sort of counting on them not needing any more photos because I took so many, but they asked me if I could take some more.
I think he saw, like, okay, I was reaching for the hand in my pocket, struggling to get down.
Didn't really know what was going on, but he looked a little uncomfortable, sort of shuffling around. And then he got down on one knee and pulled out a ring and proposed.
Even at that point, because of the nerves, I just kind of had it open, and I was just like,
yeah.
So? So I asked, and she said yes.
I knew it was a really special moment, and I felt pretty special being the person there capturing it. Totally caught off guard.
He handed the phone back, and then he said he took a few other photos on his phone and a video, and he offered to send them to me. So I was like, that'd be amazing. So just put in my email address into his phone.
So I sent the email, and initially it bounced back. So the next thing I did was Google his name, because I figured maybe there was a typo in his email address.
Received an email from him, and in the email he says that, by the way, it seems as though your name auto-corrected in the phone. So I looked you up, I Googled your name, I looked you up, I got the proper spelling. Just so happens, it seems like you're from Toronto. I am as well. Small world.
So we decided to meet up for coffee and get to know each other some more.
In the conversation itself, I found out that he was a student at U of T. I was a student at U of T for some time. He was part of Woodsworth College. I was part of Woodsworth College.
We talked about a lot of the things we had in common.
And then as we were getting ready to leave, he said that, hey, I have to get going back to work from home. Like, I got to get back to work as well. I'm like, by the way, where do you live? Like, do you live far?
And when I told him where I lived, he pointed out that he also lived in that same building.
So I was obviously very caught off guard. And I was like, okay, hold on a second. What floor do you live on?
We lived one floor apart from each other, right across the hall. And he'd recently moved out, but we lived there for, a year or two together.
So I'd never seen him before in the building, in the lobby, anywhere around here, near U of T.
I already thought it was a weird coincidence that we lived in the same city and that we lived and worked in the same part of the city.
He's obviously supposed to be part of our life for some reason. So for what that purpose is, I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but we were supposed to cross paths.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.